I gotta tell you, I'm looking at this. My theory. I keep bringing up this theory. A couple days ago, Google had this system-wide outage, right? And they were out in the morning for I don't know, like an hour or so.
Yeah.
It affected my wife. She told me about it.
It affected the world, didn't it? It was
Yeah,
all over the world.
yes, it did over the world. Remember, Google is now called Alphabet because they want to hide their earnings from non money-making divisions. The only money-making division they have is advertising because Google is an advertising company.
Yeah.
No matter what they say, right? So all their other ventures, nothing has succeeded, and their only thing is advertising. That's their sole income of money, right? Basically.
Oh well, that and selling the data of the people on people.
Yeah, but it's advertising. They get it through advertising. All of it. So, and they get your information, then they sell it, but it's all through advertising.
Right.
And my theory has been, Google is going to run into a lot of trouble because one, they're an ultra liberal company, right? So if you're a conservative guy, you're not going to want to go work for Google, okay?
Yeah.
So you cut your pool by that much. And then because of their diversity hiring tactics, you cut your pool again because now you have to fill a quota of all the people that the community thinks you should hire.
Yeah, the intersectional people.
Yeah, the intersectional people. So you can't hire the best and the brightest anymore. You have to hire the people to fill your quota.
Right.
And it's kind of like climate engineers. How many conservative climate engineers are there? Not many, because and they're all like one. Yeah, they're like one single type of minded people.
Yeah, it's a made up science anyway.
So these little things. You remember the Lawrence of Arabia movie? You remember that movie?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember at the end where the Arabs want autonomy, and the British guy saying, "Okay, let them have it." And then, like a few weeks later, the electricity starts to falter because they don't know how to run the machines. Right. And so, the same thing. I will swear that the same thing's going to happen to these bigger companies, and you're going to see these cracks in the armor of like, oh shit, we made a big mistake.
Yeah.
And then you're going to see these other people shuffled to these areas where, it's kind of important, but not critically important. Because they're not stupid, they're a business.
Right.
So then they're stuck in the, okay, now what do we do with these people type of thing.
Yeah.
So anyways, it's that type of thing. And go ahead.
Well, I think that what I have seen over the last 15 or 20 years, Silicon Valley doing is they're just maintaining.
Yeah.
They're just, like Tim Cook comes into Apple. He's not creating anything new, or he's not inspiring. He's not hiring in the effort to create
his thing is he's a supply chain expert. That's what he is.
Exactly.
So what he's done is he's consolidated everything and made things cheaper. And people go, "Oh my God, Apple is revolutionary. They make everything now." It's like, no, Commodore did that 40 years ago.
Yeah.
They made the chips. They did everything under the one umbrella, and it worked for a while, but it didn't work for that often.
Well, that's the whole problem with the thing that works so great for Apple is the thing that's such a pain in the ass about Apple is, like you can't get anything fixed ever, like your iPhone breaks, just get a new one. Your Mac breaks, forget it, you're screwed.
Yeah. You got to remember, even though you're paying, what is it, $40 a month for your iPhone, right? Your iPhone costs $1,000.
Yeah.
That's what it costs, right?
Right.
They spread it out over 3 years.
Right.
But you're that thing you're having, it's $1,000 thing.
I know.
It's really expensive.
And you got to do this, every 4 or 5 years?
Yeah. 3
4 or 5 years, you got to pony up $1,000, and it's only going to get more expensive.
Yeah, it's $1,000. And remember, on top of that, you're paying your wireless guy $40 a month for this thing. And it's like, oh, it's only $40 a month. Yeah, but you add everything up. Yeah. Add up your bills. You're ridiculously.
You have to. This is where you get into, like, is it a value to me? I mean, obviously, we got to pay for everything. It's just a question of, do you want it? And but the problem that I have with that I've seen with Silicon Valley is, like take Google. Like, Okay, so they have a friggin' search engine. Big deal. Those have been around forever. You
Yeah.
know, oh no, but Google revolutionized it. No, they just applied the algorithm that they use to choose, all stars or the best player on a team. In sports, it's a common algorithm. It's a ranking algorithm. It's nothing. And now what they've done is they've perverted it by manipulating people and creating a narrative using the algorithm. But again, so they have that. Then they have Google Docs. Oh, big deal. A friggin' spreadsheet that's been around since '83.
And what do they do with that? They scan it for stuff
Right,
so they
right,
can improve their thing.
right.
They
And
ran into a big problem how
yeah,
they're not supposed to do it for businesses,
yeah,
only for individuals.
yeah. People don't realize that like everything they get from Google is completely free. This is part of the problem that we have in the world is kids today think everything is fucking free.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but again, there's no. You and I have had our minor debates on this in the past. I think the only significant technological advance I've seen in the last 10 years, to me, is GPS. You know, Waze and GPS. It is amazing how it works. It's so
For
friggin'
me, it's
accurate.
Shazam. Shazam is the most amazing app
Yeah,
ever. It's
yeah,
magic. And I'm into this stuff, right? And
yeah.
it's magic to me.
It is. But again, I know people are going, yeah, that's because you don't see the really high end stuff, the AI and the advances. AI does not impress me at all because AI is just a casino. AI is only the benefits the person that or the organization that created the AI. AI is not helping me. And again, the other thing too, again, I'm getting older too, but the only thing I see, all technology really does is just makes things more convenient. It doesn't make it better. I've made
Okay.
this comment
Like the problem. Oh, go ahead. You finish. I got
well,
the
I've
thing
made
about
this.
AI.
I've made this comment about digital music and digital cameras. We had a century of photography that had come out shot on film and slide, and these images are gorgeous and breathtaking. But is digital photography better? I would argue no. It may
It's
be
more
as good,
convenient. Yeah, it's
but
a
it's
convenient.
absolutely more convenient. Just like a
Yeah.
car is more convenient than a donkey cart. I
Yeah.
mean, it is, but essentially it's doing the same thing. Now, again, I prefer a car. The other technological advance that I think is great is HDTV. Like TVs today look so much better than they did when we were growing up.
Yeah.
And so I will give that. But like, not only that, AI, I think AI is just so I don't care what these people say about how brilliant they are coming up with this. I think it is so deeply flawed, and the potential for complete disaster is in AI. So don't
Okay, and
don't
the
talk to me
AI
about
is all to sell you stuff because I told you that credit card thing, how someone stole my
it.
wife's
Yeah,
credit
yeah,
card, right, for Amazon,
yeah,
and we live on the West Coast. My
yeah.
wife has never ordered a thing on Amazon ever. Literally, I can say that with 100% certainty because I always do it, or the kids do it, right?
Hmm.
And all of a sudden, she orders something with her credit card that's never been used on Amazon before on the East Coast,
Right,
right?
right.
Their AI didn't detect that because they know that the bank's going to pass. What difference
Right,
does it make?
right.
So they don't do AI to make things better for everybody. They
No,
make it so they can sell more
yeah,
stuff.
it is.
Again,
It's purely the house always wins with it.
yes,
AI
no
is
question.
not there to make because it doesn't make anything easier for me. It doesn't. Still for the life of me can't understand why when I go into the registry of motor vehicles and want to update my driver's license, and then they tell me that I have tickets. And I'm like, okay, well, can I just pay them? Oh no, you have to go into Boston to the parking commission. They're it's all part of the state. What? I can't pay the ticket. Aren't your computers connected? What are you talking about? I have to drive all the way into Boston and stand in a friggin' line. I'm here. Can't I just
Yeah.
write you a check for this? And don't even get me started on what's going on today with how is it when you process somebody's death certificate it doesn't automatically send a message out everywhere throughout the thing to take their driver's license of the dead person out of the system, and
Yeah.
and most importantly, take them off the election rolls.
Yeah.
Why? Why? I told you this when back in must have been 10 years ago. But, no, it was about 6 years ago when my father died.
Yeah.
It was the next election after my father had passed away, and my mom had passed away a year before that. And so I went in to vote, and I go in, my last name, same address, and everything at the polling place. And I go in, and I'm looking at the old lady. She's looking my name down there, and I see all of our family's names on there. And I saw my mom and my dad's name on the voter rolls. How is it, like, you're processing this in a computer, the death certificate?
Yeah. What they'll do is they'll come out with Mr. Jackson died, and he didn't die, and they took him off the rolls, so we had to re-register. See, that's the excuse they're going to come up with.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, how did Mr. Jackson end up on the death list anyway? If technology is so friggin' great, it's gotten even more complicated with technology. And that's my problem with it right now.
Remember when Obamacare went through? They tried to hook all the systems. They spent $350 billion, right, on a system that didn't work.
Right.
And it's like, you forget about that. It's like not 350 million, $350 billion in that short amount of time to connect all these systems. It's ridiculous.
Now, when Google went down the other day, was that related to that SolarWinds vulnerability?
That's what no, I don't think so.
No. It was.
No,
yeah.
Because they don't do, because I know SolarWinds really well because we know people that work there, and Google doesn't use SolarWinds.
Yeah, that's why it was the same time, and I'm like, what's going on? And that's another problem. Is they just layer in all of these different technologies, especially the government, because the government has to buy products from these tech companies, and they just start using them, and it's like it's just become a rat's nest of cables. That it's just rife with at least potential problems and real problems and that
SolarWinds thing, they didn't update it. That's why they got hacked.
Yeah.
Somebody got lazy. That's the bottom line.
That's the problem. That's the problem. And they depend so heavily on this technology. And again, now we get into what you were talking about at the beginning of the call: diversity hires, not hiring the best and brightest. And again, now we have these, these Chinese nationals all throughout the United States that are in these high-paying jobs. I know because I'm picking them up and dropping them off at houses.
The communist CCP nationals.
That's what I mean.
They're here.
People. And I'm dropping them off at their houses in Lexington and Concord. They're living better. They've been here in the United States for 8 years, and they're working in these huge companies, making huge money, and we can't even trust them. And everyone's like, oh, but if I don't hire them, that makes me a racist. I'm so sick of this racist thing. Everything is racist, and it's not. It's not. That's the problem. Is the days of Apple and innovation are over. Over. There, you will not see anything. They keep going, well, the iPhone 12 is the most cutting-edge phone we've ever made. Faster processor, better camera. Because
the kids right now, what they want to do is they want to build their company up enough to sell. Yeah. That's what they want. Mm-hmm. And that's it. They don't want to build a company. They want it good enough to sell. Right. And do an IPO.
Which is what the West was known for throughout the Industrial Revolution and throughout the 20th century. Creativity and innovation is effectively dead. China's not creative. India's not creative. Chinese and Indian people are really good at what they do when they get here. They educated and all this stuff, and they're good, but they're not creative. They don't invent things. The West used to do that, but now look at what we're doing. We're taking every. If you're a white straight male in this country, you're nothing. You're nothing.
Yeah.
And trust me, this is not me complaining and want to take to the streets with a WLM, group. I don't want to do this. I'm just saying we have decided that now it's all girl power. We got to get girls in STEM. Colleges, we got to get girls. 60% of the colleges, 60% is girls. And of the remaining 40% of males, most of those are Indians and Chinese in college.
Yeah.
And of course, then you have gays or whatever other X group fills in the thing. White males are now all smoking weed, playing video games, working some stupid job somewhere.
Yeah.
And because we are the new demons,
Yeah.
we're the new demons. And that's exactly what's going on. I am not complaining about it necessarily. I'm not complaining about it. You know, I did not create this mess, and
Yeah.
you know, but that's what's going on. Apple, when they were at their most innovative, it was fat, loser, neck-bearded white guys.
Yeah.
That's who invented everything that we enjoy today. Those guys. And I'm not saying their whiteness is what made it great. It just happened to be that those were the guys that liked stuff.
And it wasn't they said you can't join. And it wasn't they say, oh, we only want to hire white men.
Right.
It wasn't anything like that.
Right.
It was just they gravitated towards these positions.
And not only that, they didn't have social lives. They didn't date. And that's all they did.
Yeah.
They didn't mind doing an 18, 20-hour day for Steve Jobs, you know, because they had nothing else to do. And they were with all their friends anyway.
Yeah.
That was their world. Yeah. But they also really, they were really creative. And, you know, the old Steve Jobs. I want to take my entire record collection and put it on this phone. You know, I mean, you know, these guys are like, what? You know, and so they made it happen, you know.
Yeah.
And but that's the thing. That's what's going on right now. Silicon Valley and industry just in general is just maintaining. They're not. There's no innovation. Where are these trade shows that come out where people are going, I just saw a demonstration there of a product or a software, and I'm friggin' blown away. No, it's like, hey, look, we have a new human resources tracking software package.
Already had that. Hey, I got to go upstairs. I'll talk to you a bit.
Back in the 80s and 90s, they were awesome. They were. What was? Anyway, you got to go.
Get going. I got to go. Okay, I'll get back.